In this video, we'll be discussing how you can use RSI divergences to find buying and selling opportunities in the stock market. We'll be discussing very briefly an overview of RSI as well as divergences. If you haven't basically seen a previous video where we've already discussed both of these topics in a lot of details, the link for both of these videos, both on RSI as well as MACD, is available in the description of our video. You can go ahead and watch these videos and get an in-depth understanding on both RSI as well as divergences. However, if you still haven't watched those videos and you still don't have the time to watch those videos, we'll very briefly touch upon both these topics in this video so that you don't feel that you have missed out on anything. We'll discuss in detail how you can use the RSI indicator to understand these bullish and bearish divergences with examples from two stocks, TCS and NALCO, which is National Aluminium Corporation. And we'll discuss how you can time your entry and set a stop loss in case the trade goes in the wrong direction to minimize your losses. Before we start, just a quick disclaimer and a quick reach out. If you guys have any feedback, then please leave in the comment section. And if you guys prefer any other topic where you want our views, then please comment that in the section as well below. Whenever we get time, we'll definitely try to share our views on those topics. Now, coming back to a very quick overview on both the RSI and the divergences. So what we mean by a divergence in the market is whenever you see the stock price and the technical indicator of a stock going in different direction, that's when you actually identify a divergence in the market. So what it means is that, for instance, you see a stock, let's say a particular stock called TCS, right, which is making lower lows very frequently. But when you see its technical indicator, in this case being RSI, you watch that basically the peaks that RSI is making is lower and not basically as strong as they were previously, which indicates that even though the price is falling in the share, but basically the momentum is decreasing with time, and therefore you might see some kind of reversal coming into picture very quickly. So the very core of it, that's what divergence is, and it can help you identify tops and bottom in the stock market. In this case, in today's video, we'll be discussing it with an oscillator, which is the RSI oscillator, and study both TCS as well as NALCO stock. We'll be studying both these charts on a 15-minute time frame to get the best and most reliable signals in the market. On a shorter time frame, you can basically definitely study those, but the chances of getting a slightly unreliable signals and the chances of your hitting the stop loss might just decrease in that case. Coming to a quick overview on the RSI. So RSI is basically the relative strength index, which is an oscillator, which means that the value of RSI will always move between 0 and 100. It will be a range bound movement. And since it's a range bound movement, whenever the value goes to the extreme ends, that's when it indicates that there is a certain change that might come into the stock once again. So in this case, if the if the oscillator, that is RSI, goes above the value of 70, what is considered is that the stock in this case would be overbought, and therefore you might see some correction till the stock cools off a bit. If the RSI value goes below 30, that's when it's assumed that the stock or that particular script is slightly oversold, and you might see some bounce back and some recovery coming into picture. So that's how RSI works. Again, you can find the link of the details of RSI, how it is used, how it is calculated, all of these things in detail in the description of this video, and go ahead and see those videos in detail. Before we go on to the next segment where we discuss how you can spot divergences, just a quick request to everyone who's watching. If you guys are active in the share market and if you guys haven't opened an account with Zerodha yet, then we strongly recommend you to find the link for opening your account with Zerodha in the description of this video and to open an account today itself. Zerodha is basically a discount broker which doesn't charge any brokerage for delivery based trades, and the brokerage charged on intraday trades is extremely minimal. So, if you guys are still using a conventional broker and paying 0.5% or 1% brokerage on buy sell rates, then please find the link to switch to Zerodha today itself and save on your brokerage charges. If you haven't joined our channel on Telegram yet, then once again you can find the link for our Telegram channel in the description of this video and join us over there. Whatever share market news we get, whatever videos we make, we first share on our Telegram channel. Please find the link and join us there today itself. Coming back on basically identifying divergences and how to basically take position and basically maximize your profit. So first we'll discuss how you can spot the divergences, and the key here is basically using TradingView, adding your RSI technical indicator, and then just trying to identify these dips and peaks that come in a particular stock and closely observing them with the RSI on a 15-minute time frame to identify these basically changes in direction that happen. So for instance, in the case of TCS, right, you have seen that the stock has been continuously losing its price for quite some time, and on a 15-minute time frame, right from the levels of 3,270, it had been making lows and then of course recovering a bit, but basically descending down in a downward direction. Now, when you see these bottoms coming into picture, you impose the RSI on top of it, you'll see that at some point, basically, even the stock lost its value. The momentum with which it lost and the RSI oscillator, basically, that did not go hand in hand with the price of the stock. So it made a low of around 25, and then the next low that RSI made was around basically around 27 or 28, which means that it recovered quite sharply. Which means again that you've now identified this divergence, and this is a bullish divergence. Now, the next important thing is to identify and understand how you can take its position and how you can set a stop loss to minimize your loss in case the trade goes in the other direction. Before we go to do that, just a quick on bearish divergence. So bearish divergence is totally opposite of the bullish divergence. In this case, you will identify a stock which has been showing an increase in price over the last few days, and again on a 15-minute chart. This being the case of NALCO, or National Aluminium Corporation. You see the price increasing from 73 to 74 rupees, but the RSI over here does not go hand in hand once again. The first peak being around 82 and the second peak being around levels of almost 74, 75 indicates a different direction to that. Now, in both these cases, before you take position in the stock, what you have to do is basically draw a trend line in the RSI chart. With a trend line, basically for instance, in the case of a bullish divergence, what you do is find a resistance trend line along which basically you have seen the share correct in the last few days, and again a resistance trend line in the indicator itself. Once this resistance trend line is broken by the indicator, that's when you take the position. So in this case, 3180 being the consolidation zone. Once basically the share broke this trend line over here at levels of around 13,175, that's when you take the position and wait for a quick up move. Now, as a stop loss, it's pretty simple. The most recent trend low is what becomes your stop loss, the most recent trend low or the swing low. And the target would be the first immediate resistance level that you see. So in this case, you had seen the share correcting down from levels of 3,250, which becomes the first resistance point. And from a short-term perspective, that's the bounce you get, which is around 2.5%, which you could possibly look to book. In case of a bearish divergence, again, you look for another trend line over here. So in case of NALCO, you look at the trend line from 28, then over here 38, 51. This trend line got broken at this point when the share was at levels of almost 73, 74. That's when you take a short position. You sell the stock, this trend line gets broken, and then you see it go down very sharply to lower levels of almost 68, 69. First, of course, in this case, you look for support points other than distance points where you can cover your shorts. So 71, 70 being a decent support point could offer some cushion. So if you're a safe trader, you might take off your profits at this point. But if you stay maintained, then you look for the other point, which or you could possibly square off half your position, maintain half your position in the same direction, and go for lower aggressive targets. So that's what basically how you identify divergences. Just a quick recap: you basically add RSI as a technical indicator on your chart in TradingView. You look for the share to enter the oversold or overbought zone, and you try to find two peaks which are divergent in nature. That is, either the stock makes higher highs and the RSI makes lower highs, or the stock makes lower lows and the RSI makes higher lows. If you identified the latter, that is the stock making lower lows, you look for a bearish divergence, take the position whenever the trend line gets broken, and you basically keep the stop loss as the trend low. In case of bullish divergence, it's the reverse. You look for prices decreasing with the peaks, and prices increasing. So in case of bullish divergence is when you look for prices decreasing. In case of bearish divergence is when you look for prices increasing. So that's it for now from our side on divergences. If you've enjoyed this video, then please like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. If you have any feedback, then please share it with us in the sections below. And if you have any other topic where you want our views, please leave that in the comment section as well. Thanks for watching once again, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.